Hey everyone, this is Tom from MonTac here, doing the weekly MonTac Matchup for the 4th of February, and joining me here this week, we have got two-time former champion, first US champion, Charging Badger is here. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Um, Obviously, not really. I've not really had much luck with my last few matchups, but that doesn't really change how I'm gonna play that much, other than obviously
Yeah, of course.
learning from the mistakes.
Mm, mm. Alright, let's get right into these matchups. Right off the bat, we've got someone you've played with a couple times. Tailsweet at rank 12 taking on Lucky rank 18. Obviously, Tailsweet most likely will be coming in this with Mutated Torosian, and Lucky probably with a Gambler Torosian. Lucky's been recently having a lot of trouble with health gain, especially outside the top 10. I think they might be able to correct it for this matchup. But based on the fact that they've had really good pairings in practice matches with Zweistein and Dan B, and that archetypal battle itself, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, Tailsweet's obviously got the edge on inexperience.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Lucky seems like I think they have the skill to be able to win here. It's just if they can avoid some of the mistakes that have lost them matches before, then I think they could easily win this match.
So would this be Lucky, you're saying, for this matchup?
Um, if they can avoid the pitfalls that have affected them before, yeah.
Alright, interesting, fair enough. Alright, the next matchup, we've got Shadow at rank 11, taking on Shadow Galaxy Wolf, making her return, first match of the year. Obviously, you and Shadow Galaxy Wolf have a bit of a rivalry going, and now she's finally coming back. Obviously, first match back against Shadow, who is quite a good competitor. Um, she could go Impact or she could go Torosians, but I think Shadow, or probably the Shadow, would go Tactician. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Obviously, Shadow Galaxy Wolf has been like historically a very strong contender,
Mm-hmm.
and in my opinion, I think she's gonna be able to adapt to like the new meta. I think she's gonna have a strong chance of winning.
Fair enough. Alright, let's get into the next matchup. We've got Mini Smoke versus Fury Card Battlezone. Now, the interesting thing about this is Mini Smoke is running Sky Soldiers, but they've made a slight change and included a Gambler package in there. They'll be taking on Fury Card, most likely going to be coming in with Sunwalkers. Based on just this very interesting combination, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, obviously, Sky Soldiers on their own have the potential to obviously any deck has the potential to beat any other deck, but I think Sky Soldiers in
Mm-hmm.
specific have like a pretty good matchup against specifically Angels, I guess, but also
Mm-hmm.
Sunwalkers isn't like too bad of a matchup. Um, Although
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sure how the Life Gambler package will impact the play. Obviously, Fury Card has like
Mm.
a lot of experience with the game, whereas Mini Smoke has only played a few matches. But
That is true. That is true.
um, if I had to make a call, I would go with Mini Smoke, I guess.
All right, interesting. Um, Obviously, like you mentioned, you do believe Sky Soldiers are still quite relevant in the meta. We had Misfire last week starting to talk about how your relationship with Sky Soldiers, and kind of he through an analogy of bread and butter. He basically said that you are the bread and that Sky Soldiers is more the butter, something that can be substituted. Um, how do you feel Sky Soldiers are stacking up? Because a lot of people are starting to hybrid them and run them not so much in the pure variant. And you've had, even yourself went in a sort of hybrid last week. Do you believe they will take you to your third title win, or do you think you might need to change or potentially augment the current strategy you're running?
So, obviously, with a lot of people picking up the deck, I think it's probably better placed in the meta than it kind of ever has been. With
Mm-hmm.
Although a lot of that is hybrids, I still think the pure deck can have a is a strong contender. And I'm probably,
Mm-hmm.
although I'm probably not gonna go back with the impact variant very much because, well,
That was really close. All right, well, let's get on to their matchup. Misfire is taking on Doozy in their fifth matchup. Obviously, Misfire won the first one, Doozy won the second one, Misfire took the third one, and Doozy took the fourth one. Seems that Doozy is really, when Misfire is making mistakes, Doozy is able to capitalize on it. Obviously, with Misfire being one of the top players, including yourself, of course, in that list. Do you think Doozy can be considered an elite player as well?
yeah. So in my opinion, I think Doozy probably is one of the elite players right now, but not just because of their record over Misfire, because if you're going off of like individual record against one person, I've like almost never beaten Misfire.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, for this match, I would think, obviously, like, the Impact deck tries to, like, get you to have as little time to think about your plays as possible. I think Misfire is gonna try to be careful about that and try not to make mistakes this time around. But, yeah, ultimately, I'm actually gonna call this match for Doozy.
Interesting. Now, obviously, that's actually another question I had for you was regarding the Starlit OTK. We've seen that around a little bit. I think, obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if Misfire showed up with it somehow. It is a pretty risky strat, but, obviously, you've seen how tough it can be. How long do you believe it's going to remain relevant in the current meta?
It's a little bit risky, but you've got a lot
Mm-hmm.
of cards to, like, set up the thing
Yeah,
and
for
make
sure.
sure that it will work. Like, you've got Card Snatch. I think, I would think that, the deck is, if it can find a way to be more consistent, then I think it would definitely see
Mm-hmm.
a strong meta presence. As it is now, I think people are gonna keep playing
For
it
sure.
as it is. And still not completely sure if it'll
Mm-hmm.
work or not, but I think it'll keep seeing play.
All right. Now, speaking of multiple attacks, we end up into a contender matchup. Now, we've got a Steel Edge mirror match, would be my prediction. Obviously, we've got cutter discs abound that could protect the axe head creatures, so even if you do get your axe head out first, there's no guarantee. We've got DNB with a lot more experience than Not Not. However, Not Not has done a lot of has had a little bit of research recently, and they've been really good at getting their axe heads out. And we've seen before, experience doesn't necessarily dictate the winner. Obviously, on your thoughts of a double board wipe with protection from cutter disc, how do you think this is going to go down?
Um, so I don't actually have a lot of experience with either of these players. I think I've only had like one match against Dan B, and
Mm-hmm.
haven't had any matches at all against Donald. Um, and obviously Dan B kind of has more experience at like the top 5 level where there's no draws. Um, but with Not Alt kind of, Not Alt has the momentum right now, I feel like. So I feel like if I'm gonna call it, I would probably go with Not Alt.
Wow, that would mean that Not Not goes straight to Apocalyptic for a title match. That would be pretty massive. All right, well, thank you, Badger. I appreciate you coming on and doing the matchup. I know your time is very valuable, so thank you very much. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Make sure to learn from the mistakes you make. You can always get better at the game. Yeah, don't make the mistake of thinking you can never get better.
All right, that was the weekly MonTac matchup for February, I believe, February 4th. Thank you very much, Badger. I will see you all next week. This has been Tom.